All right. So another case study for you so that you know what it's like to work with me, what it's like to work on your relationship with food, and what I mean when I say healing your relationship with food and your body, because it can get complex and it's different for everyone. So, first of all, I'm Danny. I'm an eating disorder therapist and a body image and binge eating coach, and I have a program that is dedicated to help women stop binge eating, emotional eating, and overeating, and work on their body image at the same time so that they feel like food is easy and they're comfortable in their bodies and just happy without needing to be burdened by food noise and body noise. All right, so I have a program. It's called the Empower Eater Academy that works on exactly that. It's a 12-week program. If you're interested, I leave the application in the caption, so go look for it. All right, so let's get started. This client came to me saying, Danny, I'm addicted to food. She said, I'm addicted to sweets, I'm addicted to carbs, and she was very convinced that she was. And I was like, let's see, let's hold off, because food addiction does exist, but it's not as common as people think, right? So it's not like I just like dismiss her, but I do want to know different things about this food addiction or her like history and true needs and her approach to food before I even say, okay, yeah, you're addicted to food, right? We want to rule that out. So she came in being like, I'm just not in control. I like food too much. I'm addicted to food and I use it to cope for my life. And I was like, okay, let's figure it out. So she was in her late 20s. She was dating. She was just like in the midst of like her life, just working a lot, very successful. And she just had no idea why she felt like this around food. And she would just binge sometimes. She would overeat most of the time. She would emotionally eat as well. And she was just like, I just like food too much. So what we did first, obviously, is find out why she felt this way, right? There's different things that lead you to feel addicted to food, lead you to feel like you're out of control and like there's nothing to do about it, right? Like you're the problem, but you're not. So what we did was work through that, right? Work through what was coming up for her in the moment that she felt this like out of control with food. So what came up for her was her cultural standards, specifically with her mother, because of her relationship with her mother and how strict her mom was, how judgmental and how like perfectionistic she was in her life, but also in my client's life, she got this high pressure to perform with food. Okay. I think people see this as good, right? It's not bad to want to be perfect. It's not bad to want to perform well, right? But when it comes to food, that can lead you to feel more out of control. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more, right? She wanted to eat perfectly. She struggled with social eating or with like social pressure when it came to food. And she struggled with basically when things were okay, her food was fine. But when things were not, like when she would go out of her routine, when she would go on trips, out with friends, whatever that is, she was very stressed, overwhelmed, then the food would go out the window, right? She wouldn't feel stable around food. So that's what we worked through, right? Her relationship with her mom was pretty much at the core of it because she felt like this pressure all of the time. So that pressure would make her try to be perfect, try to be rigid, try to do all these perfect things with food, and then that would break the restrict binge cycle and lead her to binge and feel out of control around food. So once we started to talk about that, her approach to food changed drastically. The binging was gone. Her emotional eating was still there. The overeating was pretty much gone. And we just started to see how those little things, like that little pressure, that little messages from her mom were like beep, 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 beep all the time. And we started to tackle that, right? The mindset, the noticing these in the moment, right? Approaching food and really being like, okay, what's coming up right now? And knowing how to work through it in the moment, right? If you don't know what's coming up, then skills might not help that much. They probably will help, but not to like really nip it because you're not really tackling what's truly coming up. So that was the cultural standards that came from her family, specifically her mom, right? That pressure. We taught her pretty much how to eat so that she wouldn't be so rigid around food and then go into like the restrict binge cycle. And we really focused on skills and tips to work for social eating and eating when she would go on trips and eating when she was just like out of her routine, right? Because she was like, it's not that I want to like restrict, but I also don't want to just be mindless. She would call it like a switch. Like she felt like she was just turning on a switch of like, oh, I'm not in my routine, so I'm just going to be mindless. And then she would feel like regret and guilt. So we really worked through breaking that down and giving her skills and mindset shifts specifically for that, so that she would make like knowledgeable choices and choices that felt best for her in the moment, so that she wouldn't be left feeling like, why did I just do all of that? She went on a road trip and she was like, this was the best trip ever, because she felt really good with food too. I love that part of her. So that's kind of what we focused on. A big piece obviously is that body image piece. So because her mom was so hard on her, she used to always comment on her body and always tell her like, you need to eat better, you need to lose weight, like why are your hips so wide, like literally to her face. And she took this with her, right? This was her, she was being told this when she was like a teenager, growing up when she was younger. Like that's the message she got from her mom. So when things come from your parents, they stick a lot more just because they're your like parental models, and they're the ones that are supposed to teach you unconditional love by giving you unconditional love. So when that doesn't happen, it can really shake you. So we really worked through that body image, and because the binging was gone, the overeating was gone, that emotional eating was still there. And she was still like, I still kind of feel like I'm addicted to sweets sometimes. And she's like, I don't know why. Turns out it was connected to body image. So we really broke it down, right? We took some time to be like, okay, so what is happening, right? We already tackled the deeper needs. We already tackled kind of the messages, the cultural factors, the upbringing. So what is happening? And once we broke it down, this is why I love body image. She felt like there was still like a tiny part in her mind, in the back of her mind, that was worried about her body image and was worried about what her mom was going to say. And that would immediately, without her really noticing, immediately send her to the restrictive mindset. Immediately. So she would be like, I need to take advantage. I'm never going to eat this again. So since I'm allowing myself to have this now, I'm going to go for it and finish the ice cream, or continue to eat the, cookies in the office, or the donuts that they take for breakfast. So once we went really, really deep, like in the back of her mind, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Now we gave her skills to overcome it in the moment, right? So once she was able to apply those skills, she was like, I'm not addicted to sweets. I'm not addicted to food. And that's why you want to check all of these different things that might be leading you to feel like you're addicted to sweets and to food. But like I say, feelings aren't facts. Just because you feel like you're addicted doesn't mean that you're addicted. We just have to kind of break it down to see what's leading you to feel this way, and what tools we can apply to make it feel better. So that was my client. So she came in being like, just done. She was just done. She had already worked with a dietitian. She had her therapist, but it was never really like focused. You know, I think when you go see a therapist, it can get a little bit unfocused. You start to talk about like, I don't know, like your relationship or stress about work and stuff like that, that it can, the work with binge eating and body image can get a little bit clouded, or it's not as focused. And with her dietitian, she wasn't getting the mindset work. She wasn't getting the cultural standards work, the skills that she needed for the binge eating and the emotional eating, right? All of those little nuances that can be driving you to feel out of control around food. That's what you don't get with a dietitian. So you can get simple mindset shifts, or you can get like specific instructions. But if it's not really understanding the psychology behind that binge or that drive to be impulsive around food, then you're not going to get that with somebody who doesn't really get it. So yeah, that's what it's like to kind of comb through the layers, what I call unmet needs, right? That bottom layered part that you probably haven't noticed because you continue to focus on trying to have more discipline, trying to feel in control, trying to not buy sweets, right? Trying to go on another diet or counting calories. That's the surface. And if you continue to focus on that, you're not going to focus on what's actually driving you to feel out of control. If you continue to focus on food, you're not going to focus on the internal work that has to happen to feel like food is easy and like food is joyful and chill and fine, and get rid of that food noise and that body noise. All right. So I hope this helped kind of understand what it's like to work on your relationship with food and what you can focus on when you're thinking of working on your relationship with food, right? So if you're interested in working on your relationship with food and your body image, let me know. I have a program called the Empowered Eater Academy, and it's 12 weeks, and you have a team of myself and an eating disorder dietitian that walk you through all of this for those 12 weeks. We meet with you once a week. I check in on you every Monday. We keep you accountable, and yeah, we kind of hold your hand and give you those specific steps to get you to where you want to be. So if you're interested, let me know, fill out the application, and we can just book a call where I can give you information and just answer all your questions. And if you want, if you like this, follow along on YouTube. You can follow along on Instagram at bodyimage.binge.coach. And yeah, hope this helped.